Well, what's happened today, there's news every day, is that a court in Edinburgh, which had been asked to rule on whether or not the Prime Minister asking the Queen to prorogue Parliament was lawful or not, has decided it is not going to rule today. It doesn't see an argument for ruling today, and we'll look at the case next week. So, of course, that is, at some level, a relief for the government, because they haven't been told proroguing, suspending Parliament is judged unlawful. But, of course, it'll all roll forward not only to Edinburgh next week, but there are separate challenges in Belfast and in London. And the London one, of course, has now been joined by the former Prime Minister John Major as a supporter of it. So next week will be a big week as courts in different parts of the UK rule on whether proroguing, suspending Parliament is lawful or not.
Warm day here in London. I see autumn is beginning to grip some of the bushes behind me.
Everything is up in the air, and indeed what's developing in the UK, and particularly in London, is a sort of massive constitutional, multi-dimensional chess game with everybody accusing everybody else of behaving unconstitutionally and manoeuvring, everybody trying to manoeuvre to stop the government, trying to stop its opponents, the opponents trying to stop the government doing what the government is trying to do next.
Posing and gestural movements about what the government's doing and what it's not doing.
One of the first things, most obviously being done to try to reduce the risk of no deal, is for a number of court cases in Scotland, Northern Ireland and in England to try to suspend the prorogation or the suspension of Parliament. So that would allow MPs more time. Separately, when Parliament returns on Tuesday next week, a group of MPs from all parties probably, including senior Conservatives, are going to try to get together to take control of the business of the House of Commons, then to pass legislation which would have to go through the Commons and the Lords to rule out a no-deal Brexit. Big challenge, but that's what's going to happen next week.
Which I do all the time, it's perfectly normal hand movements.
MPs from across the spectrum, including senior Conservatives, have decided that the best way of stopping the government delivering a no-deal Brexit, or the risk of it, is not by trying to set up an alternative government after a vote of no confidence, but instead to pass an Act of Parliament which would be supported by most, if not all, opposition MPs and 20 to 30 Conservatives who are opposed to no deal. So getting them all together is a very complex business, because if they don't all vote together, then the government will defeat them. So they've got to keep this new coalition together, a very odd coalition, with people on the far left on the Labour leadership and some people on the centre-right of the Conservative Party who are opposed to no deal, ex-cabinet ministers, all in one temporary grand coalition.